Today is Friday, May 14th, and I'm going to discuss the top stories for today. There's a situation in Israel that's starting to escalate. The news reports that Israel troops are becoming missing at the Gaza border, and they're firing artillery rounds and rockets into the Gaza. Many Palestinians living in the Gaza-Israel border are having to go hide and find safety in a different place from the UN run schools. The Israel military fired 1,800 missiles, but 430 of them fell short. Israel had a missile defense system called Iron Dome that launches its own missiles to stop the rockets. The death toll has risen, and it continues to do so. But there are far more casualties in the Palestinian area. Fox News reported that there's a divide in the Democratic Party in the response to that violence in Israel. The Biden administration and party House Speaker Nancy Pelosi supported the Israeli military in their actions to defend themselves from those rockets and firings. But Senator Bernie Sanders said government was their right side ally and the extremists in Jerusalem to push the situation into more violence, into a more war. But then Representative Ilhan Omar said that Israeli is starting to have more airstrikes attacks. Representative Elise Stefanik, the representative from New York, was elected to replace Liz Cheney in the House Republicans and to be the chair of the GOP conference. The vote in that election was 135 to 46. Axios said it shows the importance of loyalty to a formal Republican Party and the Trump administration. Now I'm going to discuss mask restrictions that have been updated. The CDC announced that data shows that people that are fully vaccinated are safe to not wear masks in or outside. US Today says at least 10 states have relaxed the restrictions and their strictness in requiring masks. The states of Connecticut, Illinois, Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Washington states have more flexible requirements related to mask requirements. But some of the Republicans commented on the new mask requirements, saying that the White House is relaxing these restrictions just to distract people about what's happening in Israel. And the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said that the new recommendations were from the CDC and the medical and health experts, and not up to the White House and the President Biden's administration. The major retail stores like Walmart and Target says they're going to continue to require masks to be worn in their stores. They have announced that they will reevaluate as restrictions move forward. Trader Joe's says it will not require fully vaccinated customers to not wear a mask. Next, the city of Columbus, Ohio, has reached a $10 million statement with the family of Andre Hill. He's a 47-year-old Black man who died after being shot walking from his garage. He was holding his phone, and this happened on December 22nd, and the former Columbus police officer, Adam Coy, was actually on site when this happened. There was a report of an idling car outside his house, and the cop, when he saw Andre Hill come out, he shot them within seconds, and Andre didn't receive any medical attention whatsoever until a few minutes later. Coy, the cop in Columbus, was fired and in February was charged with murder, and several other defense offenses. But he did plead not guilty. WYFF4 News in South Carolina reported that a 28-year-old woman was driving her car with gas that was hoarded inside her car, and it crashed. And her car blew up into flames. Before that happened, the car was being chased by a policeman because it had license plates that were expired or reported stolen. And when the driver was being followed by the cop, she lost control and the car exploded with the gas inside of it. The driver did exit the car while it was on fire, and the deputy that was following her pushed her over to stop the fire. The woman is still alive but has several serious injuries, but we haven't had any more information on that story or anything related to the stolen license plates. The health commissioner in Philadelphia, Thomas Farley, was fired because of how he handled human remains after African American victims from the MOVE bombing in 1985. 11 people died on May 13th, 1985, because the Philadelphia Police Department, during this war, there was a standoff with MOVE members with a helicopter that dropped 2 bombs on a rooftop of a home. Then a fire occurred and they allowed the fire to burn for over 1 hour. Many of the neighborhoods were burned and destroyed, and they were mostly Black residents in that neighborhood. But just a few weeks ago, there was a report that human bones of 2 children were found after the MOVE bombing and were used at a college courses at the University of Pennsylvania. And the families of those 2 children were never given any information or permission to use their bodies. The mayor of Philadelphia said that he found this week that the health commissioner in 2017 cremated and disposed of those bones that were recovered from the bombing without attempting to contact their families or identify who those bones belonged to. Nothing like that. The mayor said this action showed lack of empathy, and the commissioner was then fired. And that was the top stories of this week. Have a good weekend and stay with the light.